welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. If you're new, welcome for the first time. Today is going to be one of my crafty podcasts where I share all of my fun goings on, anything crafty that I've been working on. If you're new here, you can find me on Instagram at Erica Arndt and Facebook and my website as Confessions of a Homeschooler. All right, so I have a lot of fun projects to share with you today. Jax is back here in his now chair. He's pretty much taken over. I think I've sitting in it like one time maybe. So yeah, it's pretty much his chair now. Maybe someday I'll get to cross stitch back there and just relax while watching a movie, but that day is not today. Before we get to the projects though, I do want to do a new section called Q&A or FAQ because I get a lot of the same questions and I thought here would be a good place to address those. So question number one, probably my most frequently asked question since I've been releasing my Vintage Truck of the Month blocks am I going to bundle them all together? So I either get the question, where are the rest of the blocks? I can't find them in the store, or can I buy them all at once? And so the answer to where the rest of the blocks are, they're not all released yet. So if you are watching this video in March of 2022, the current block released is March. They started in August, so I kind of started at a weird time of the year, so I think that's why everybody's getting confused. But we started in August and we've rolled all the way around to March. They are releasing the 15th of each month, so March 15th, the April blocks will release, and that's Stitchy and Quilty. So once I get them all released, so probably July of 2022 this year, I will be putting them into a bundle and you can buy them all as a bundle instead of having to buy them individually. So I'm just not going to do it yet until they are all released. So just be patient with me so that I can get them all out. They're not all completely, they're designed, they just aren't all completely made. And so obviously I have to make the samples for you guys, and also I want you to have something to look forward to each month as they roll out. So I'm so glad that you guys are loving them. I'm really happy that I can provide you guys with something that you are enjoying. So I am very thankful for that. So thank you. But also please be patient. They will be rolling out once a month, and then once they're all rolled out, I will bundle them all together. Question number two is, where are all the Sew With Me blocks? Why can't I download them all? Or I'm having a hard time downloading the Sew With Me blocks. So it's kind of a similar situation. The Sew With Me blocks are releasing once a month here on YouTube, but they are releasing the third Thursday of every month. That video will be live. So this month we'll be releasing block number 8, I believe we are on. So far blocks number 1 through 7 are released, and then 8 through 12 will be released in the upcoming months. There will be 12 blocks total, and then when we are done, we are putting them together in a cute little sampler type quilt. I have 3 different finishing options for you. That's going to vary the finished size of your quilt. Some is going to be a little bit easier, some are going to be a little bit harder, more work, and so you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do, but you're going to have to stay tuned for that. So we are currently, block number 7 is out right now. Block number 8 will release, I believe, next week. Once all of those are released, I will probably bundle them up so that you can kind of download them all at once. We'll have to kind of see how that goes. And then I do plan on doing another Sew With Me series in 2023 because you guys have really enjoyed this series. And let me know in the comments below. Some people are saying 1 month is perfect because they have time and they don't feel rushed. Some people are wanting the blocks a lot faster than that. So leave a comment below if you want the blocks to come out faster or if once a month is good for you. The other question we get to kind of go along with the Sew With Me patterns is people having trouble downloading the pattern. For that, I am very sorry. I'm not sure why the link works for some people and not for others. One thing that I think you can try, well, first of all, let me tell you, the links are below the videos. So if you're on a computer, you can click the Show More link down there below the computer. It will drop down the description box below the video, and it has a ton of information. All my favorite sewing supplies, links to any downloads or cutting instructions will be found there. If you're on a phone or a mobile device, it will be on the bottom right here, down on the right-hand corner, underneath the video. There's just like one of those little down arrow V's. If you press that, I think they moved them, so depending on when you're watching this, it could have changed again, but all the good information will pop up for you. Right now, it kind of pops up on the side of your screen. It might pop up below it. Kind of depends on what device you're on. So just hit that little down arrow at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen underneath the video, and you'll find all the information. As far as the link not working for you, try right-clicking on the download link, and then if you're on a computer, you can select Save File As, or if you're on a Mac, it will be Download Linked File, and then hopefully that file will download to your computer. It's just a PDF, and then you can open it and print it and whatever. And then there are some instructions on how to download PDF files to a mobile device. So I highly suggest checking that out. If you can't get it to download on your phone or your iPad, you can always download it on your computer and then just email it to yourself so you can open it on your iPad. So hopefully those tips will at least help you out in getting those files downloaded. The other question that we have been getting a lot, and this is so nice of all of you, is you are asking how my mom and I are doing, our family is doing after the loss of my dad this past year. And the answer to that is we are doing, I think, as good as we could be doing. My mom obviously is having to adjust to a whole new lifestyle. She's been with my dad since they were 14. So that's a really, really long time. So it's definitely an adjustment. We do appreciate you guys, all your prayers, all your comments. If we get them, I try and let her know there's comments on there for her. But you guys are all so nice, and we want to thank you, both of us, for asking how we're doing and for your continued prayers for our family, because grief is obviously one of those kind of weird things where it's not really like linear. It's not like, oh, that happened last year, so now we're all better, right? It kind of goes in waves. And some days you're happy and fine, and some days is just harder than others. And I think winter overall can be really hard just because it's cold outside and people aren't out doing a lot of things. My mom has a great support system of neighbors that have her, and friends who invite her for dinners and get her out of the house and things like that. And she has a lot of help. So she is doing well. We are doing well. And we want to thank you all for all your prayers and thoughts for our family. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and I'll either answer you there, or maybe we'll add a new questions section to this podcast so I can answer your questions kind of like we do during Vlogmas. Let's go ahead and dive into the projects. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my spinning because I only have 2 things to show you. And this is them finished skeins. The last time you saw these, they were on bobbins. And I just needed to get them off and get them washed and whacked and then put into these skeins. So these are both bats that I carded myself on my brother drum carder and then spun them into yarns. I was going for something chunky and bulky that I can make hats out of, and I think these turned out really good. And so I just wanted to kind of show you, because sometimes you can get a better feel for all of the colors involved when you can see them skeined up, and I do have a lot of pops of color. This top one was just a gray, I think merino, and then I actually picked up all of the little crumbs of scraps from underneath my carder and spun it into it, so that one was fun. And then this one, I wanted to be nice and light and kind of pastel-y, sort of unicorny feeling, and so I purposefully put those color pops in there. So here they are, all finished up and ready to be knitted. And I've had a few questions on the skeins. So if you're new to buying yarns in skeins, you can't really use the yarn like this. It will become a tangled mess. So what you have to do is use a ball winder and spin it into a cake. And this is what a cake looks like. So this is probably a little bit more familiar looking to you. So they start out like this, you spin it into a cake like this, and then you can either pull from the center or the outside. I like to pull from the outside actually, so I don't get a tangled ball coming out of the center of my yarn, but that's just personal preference. But anyways, if you are interested and you don't know how to cake up a skein of yarn, let me know and I can do a quick tutorial here on YouTube for you on how to turn this into this. So that's all the yarn I have. I'm just happy that I finished those. They've been on my Nitty Knotty and on my bobbins for just way too long. So now they're ready to be used. Let's go ahead and dive into quilting because I have some fun new projects to share with you and I have some sneak peeks as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen up our Sew With Me series blocks. They are releasing here on YouTube, as most of you already know. If not, I will link those below on where you can get them. You can also just search my channel for Sew With Me. You can search YouTube for Sew With Me Erica. And I'm sure all of them will come up. But I do have a playlist on my main page of my YouTube channel that you can click on. It has all of the blocks that we've done so far. So as of March 2022, we are on block number 7. Block number 8 will release next week. There will be 12 blocks total. I already said all of that. And I am going to go ahead and run through and just show you the blocks that we've done so far. And I'm going to put up pictures because I'm already working on the finishing of the quilt and I don't want to give away any spoilers. So here we go. Here is block number 1. This was our sawtooth block. Very cute. Here's block number 2, the churn dash block. Block number 3 is the rolling stone block, and this one I think I want to do a whole nother quilt out of and change it so it looks like flowers. We'll see if that comes soon. Block number 4 is our first rendition of the Ohio Star block. I got a lot of comments saying this wasn't legally an Ohio Star block. I have seen it called that just because of that snowball diagonal block in the center there, but the real Ohio Star block will be coming soon. Block number 5 is the weather vane block. This is also one of my all-time favorite blocks just because I think it looks so cute and you can really change the look of it just by changing the fabric. Block number 6 is our granny square block, which I love. And then the block number 7 was the Sister's Choice block. I also love this one. Block number 8 is coming soon. You will have to wait to see what that block is. Now, I did want to start featuring some of my quilt patterns that have been released before because we have a ton of new viewers here and you may or may not even know that these quilts exist. So the quilt that I'm featuring today is going going to be my Sweet Pea quilt. This is one of my favorite quilts. It's so cute. I love all those flowers. It's perfect for spring. I'll go ahead and try and insert some video of the Sweet Pea quilt here so you can kind of see it in person instead of just looking on my pattern here. This quilt is going to be going up on my wall probably by the next video that you see. I always switch it out in spring, and I'm debating between this one and the Chairberry quilt. I think I'm actually going to remake the Chairberry in some darker fabrics. I'm thinking Beautiful Day by Corey Yoder because I think that would be a really pretty quilt. So look for that coming soon. This quilt is really good size. It finishes at 72 by 91. So it's a good size quilt. Of course, you can kind of alter that size by adding or removing any of the borders. And then the blocks actually finish quite large. These are 16-inch blocks, and then plus I did some sashing there, as you can see. So this was really fun. The line that I used for this was by Lella Boutique, and I think this was her Lollipop Garden line. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen right there for you. But it just had all of these really fun springy colors, and I loved it so much. And then for the background on some of my border there, I actually used a print from Pam Keating Morting. It's kind of like a newspapery print, and I like that it added more border to my quilt, but it wasn't just so in your face that I think the design on the inside still stands out more, but it kind of gave it a little bit of texture. So I'm really enjoying playing with some of these low volume fabrics these days. I really love the different interest that it brings to the quilt. I just think it kind of gives it a whole new vibe. So Sweet Pea quilt, you can get this in my store, and I think it's going to be perfect for spring. All right, this next thing that I'm going to show is a new pattern that has just released. We have kits at Catching Stitches. She's got the fabric kits, and then you can get the pattern from my shop. And this one I've been wanting to make for quite a while. I just haven't had time. And I also wanted, there's a lot of sewing machine blocks out there, and I wanted to make sure that mine was just a little bit different and unique. And so here it is. This one is actually quite large. It finishes at 24 by 31, and I called this Just Keep Sewing, and it features this adorable aqua sewing machine, and then of course the words quilt on the bottom. This fabric is by Bonnie and Camille, and I actually just pulled fabric from my stash. As most of you know, I recently reorganized my stash in color order, and so I just liked the freedom that that gave me. Now when I need like a navy, I can just go and look at all the navies, and I'm not so concerned with which line it came from. So it is also still the same designer, so it all really goes together quite well, but I don't feel quite as limited by having it in individual bundles and going through and looking for navy in each bundle. Now I just grabbed something from my beautiful rainbow fabric here and make good use of it. So that's what I did for this. This was made entirely out of scraps, and really the only thing that you kind of need larger pieces for is that sewing machine right there, because it is pretty good size. The sewing machine features these cute little thread spools on top, and then of course a little patchwork unit that we're sewing there, and a pin cushion. And I haven't done it yet, but I was thinking about embroidering some little pins coming out of that pin cushion because I think that'd be really cute. Then on the back side, I used another Bonnie and Camille print, and I'll put what line it's from on the screen below. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It might be their Shine On line. And then I did a navy binding from their newer line, One Fine Day, that just came out. And then I also added a Handmade by Erica label to the back that came in my Stitch Supply Co. Advent calendar for this year. And so I've been trying to be better about adding my labels to my quilts. And then here's my quilting kind of up close and personal. I just did a little all over meander. I tried to do kind of nice tight quilting on this. So of course it's not perfect, but I actually really love experimenting with quilting on these because these smaller projects, because they're smaller, they're easier to manage. They're less, when you're doing a huge quilt, obviously that's going to take more time, more thread, and it can be really stressful and you get really tired. So when I have anything like this size, like my trucks of the month, I always like experimenting with my quilting. Now, the meander is kind of my go-to thing. It's fast, it's fun. I've also done straight line quilting like on my trucks of the month, but I think I'm gonna stretch myself this year, and I'm gonna try and learn some new designs because these smaller projects are a great way to practice some of that. So that is my Just Keep Sewing block. Like I said, it is now live in my shop. I will put a link where you can get it, and you can get the fabric kits from Catching Stitches. She always kits all of my my quilt patterns for me, and she does such a great job putting fabrics together. These are older prints from my stash, and so I know Carrie is going to be doing her best to put together a bundle that's similar. They will still be Bonnie and Camille prints. They might just not be the exact prints that I have here, but either way, I'm sure her bundles will be beautiful. She always puts together great bundles. Now, this is traditionally pieced, so there is no like fancy hard stuff in here. There are some smaller pieces on it. So for example, these spools up here at the top, this part right here, the spool part can get a little bit wonky because you're working on such small pieces. So I highly recommend using some Mary Ellen's Best Press on your fabric. So I would just spray my piece of fabric before I cut it. Make sure you iron it nice and dry and then cut it out, and you'll get a lot less stretching and distorting as you're putting together some of these smaller pieces. But honestly, the spools and probably the needle down here is probably the smallest thing that you're going to have to deal with. Everything else is super easy, and the piecers are large enough that I think you can definitely put this together. It's traditionally pieced, so nothing fancy or hard or anything like that. So just keep sewing, and I hope you guys like it. Okay, let's jump right into, I know you guys are all seeing this, but I'm going to show it again since it is March, to our Quilty Trucks of the month. So this is the March Quilty Truck of the month, and for this one I used Beautiful Day by Corey Yoder. Had to double check that, and I used a different print on the back. This was by Brenda Riddle, but look at how good it matches. And this was an older line, I think, called Ambleside, but it matched really good, and I am trying to sew through my stash this year. And then I did do my kind of meandering, tight little quilting there. I think I might try pebbles. I also want to try some swirls, so I'm going to try some new stuff this year, guys. This is just my go-to, and I love it. Anyways, we'll see. But anyways, I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I know you guys have all already seen it, but here you go, March. I don't have a lot of other cross stitch to show, so I am going to just go ahead and show the March truck here as well. So here's our Stitchy truck of the month for March, and I really just love this one. I think it's so cute, and I love that pink. It just gives it, or coral, it's more coral, kind of gives it a pop there, and the little cute heart hanging from the R at the end is adorable. And you guys have been really nice about these and loving stitching them, and so I am loving making them for you. So that is the Stitchy truck of the month. And then we're going to be doing a little sneak peek for April. This will be releasing the 15th, so depending on what day this podcast goes live, this should be coming within like probably about a week. So this is the April truck. Look at how cute that is. And I wanted to really put, you know, April showers bring May flowers type of thing. So I really wanted to try and get an umbrella in the back of this truck. And I went back and forth between a pieced umbrella and the Dresden umbrella, and I decided on the Dresden umbrella for a couple of reasons. One, it looks absolutely adorable, and two, I really wanted to kind of stretch you guys a little bit. This might not be stretching you at all. For some people it might be stretching, and I just wanted to encourage you to try something new. So I did a little Dresden. I did a video on how to put it together last week, so you will have already seen that. And once the Dresden is made, then I just attach it to this quilt block just like I show in the video. And so really the only thing that you have here is this edge, and this edge will be raw edges, and so you just press those under by 1/4 of an inch. I just pressed them really well and then kind of pinned them, and then I pinned them on this unit, and then I just ran a top stitch all the way around. And so it's actually really quite easy. It kind of gets your feet into applique a little bit, but it's not, I don't think it's really, maybe it's officially applique, I don't know. But it's fun and it's easy, and so I really encourage you to try it. So when you're making this block, you make it a little differently. You make the back of the truck here with this is pieced, so with the handle, and then once that's done, you sew it to the front of the truck, and then you're gonna add this on top. That allows you to kind of adjust where you want to put it, make sure it looks cute. You could even maybe slant it a little if you want to be a little bit extra, but I think it turned out really cute. And then I haven't added a whole lot of things to the top of my trucks, but since it's in the cross stitch, I was like, you know what, I'm putting a chicken on the top of my truck. So there he is. So you've got a little umbrella and a little spring chicken on the top of the April truck, and then of course our April wording on the bottom. So the fabric I used for this is called Canning Day by Corey Yoder, and it's just a really fun, springy line, and so I thought it went really well with this. And then for the background, I used a B Basics background. So this is a Lori Holt cross stitch or gray stitch cross background, I think is what it's called. And then on the back of it, I kind of mixed and matched for this one. On the back of it, this is Nest by Lala Boutique. This was from my stash, and I just like the color of the flowers. And then the binding is this green. This is by Bonnie and Camille, and this was one of their older lines that might have been Hello Darling or something like that. So anyways, I kind of mixed and matched my designers for this month's block, but I think it turned out really, really cute. I'm really loving the little umbrella on here, and I hope you guys are going to give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully the video tutorial that I released last week will help you put it together, but honestly, it's so easy. And there are some small pieces on this one, kind of like on the Just Keep Sewing. So like the beak on the chicken, and these guys are kind of small. So feel free to use some Mary Ellen's Best Press on those fabrics before you cut them. It'll keep them from stretching and distorting and kind of make everything a little bit more accurate. But I most likely was in a hurry when I made this, and I don't think I used any. So, you know, do what you want. The beak doesn't have to necessarily really line up with anything, so even if it's off a little bit or not perfect, I don't think you're going to notice. So anyways, here is our April quilty truck. This will be releasing the 15th of March, and then to go with that, I've got our April stitchy truck of the month. I've got that little chick up there on top. He's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but he's there, and a cute little umbrella. For this, I wanted the umbrella to kind of look like a little strawberry because I was using that pink color, and it just inspired me. I thought it was so cute. So you can kind of do that if you want. If you want it to look more like the quilty truck, you could just do like color blocks down that umbrella, and I think that would also be adorable. But I did the green and the pink and a lighter pink in there, and then there's a little chick in that center. There's even a little chick dangling from the R, and then some little flowers and a flower on the truck, of course. On the back of here, I had accidentally forgot to cut my fabric at a diagonal. So I like it when these ginghams go diagonally instead of straight across. I think it looks cuter on the front because you can kind of see them all. And so I actually ended up turning my sticky board diagonally, and when I glued it all together, it kind of made this little envelope backing. So, you know, it worked out. It was cute, and I think it turned out perfectly. So who knows, maybe I'll do that in the future because now my back is kind of semi-finished. Not that it matters, but anyways, that's how this one worked out. I did have to do a little finagling around the corners with some tweezers and my hot glue gun to get those corners to stay down because it barely fit on there, but I was really determined to get it on there so that it had, you know, that look around the edge. So anyways, here is our April stitchy truck and our April quilty truck. And again, those will be in the shop on the 15th of March. So March 2022, if you're watching this in the future, they will be there and ready for you guys to stitch and quilt. So the last thing I want to show for quilting is my Valor quilt because I forgot to show it in my 2021 podcast. And a lot of you had mentioned that, and because it was awarded to my father-in-law, I no longer have it in my possession. So I am going to show you the cover of it. Please forgive me, my printer is running out of ink. So it has been awarded to my father-in-law, so I no longer have it in my possession, which is why it kind of wasn't just in my brain at the time. So I do want to show it though because it turned out so great, and I love this quilt so much. My father-in-law was extremely honored to receive it. He really enjoyed it, and it does hang in a nice place in their home, and they actually have it backwards so that his name is showing instead of the design. And I was like, turn it around so they can see the design, but they can do whatever they want with it. But anyways, yes, he loved it. It was such an honor to make it, and I think he was just really touched to receive it. So anyways, that was a really fun quilt to make, and I love it so much, and I thank you guys for reminding me about it because I had completely forgotten when I went to pull all of my 2021 projects together. Okay, so I'm gonna move into knitting and crochet and then we'll do acquisitions at the end of that. I have some fun things to show you. But I have an actual finish, finally. I have not had as much time to knit, and we do go to knit night, but a lot of times I'm talking and I don't get as much stuff done there as I want to. But it's a great time to go and visit with the ladies, and you might have seen that during Vlogmas too. But anyways, I have finished a pair of socks. I'm so excited. So the yarn is Leo and Roxy, and it's called the Work Sock Set. And so the yarn came in a set. It didn't come with this white. I had to get this kind of white color on my own, but it did come with a hot pink and then that marled black and gray that you see there. And then I actually decided to make shorties of it. So it's kind of a compilation of a couple different patterns that I put these together with. And so I kind of made it up, but also, I mean, there's so many Sock Monkey patterns out there, and Leo and Roxy actually have one on their website as well. So you can definitely go check that out. And I can't decide if I should put out a pattern for these or not, because I definitely changed quite a few things on them from either of the patterns that I was sort of looking at. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of sort of Sock Monkey-ish type patterns out there. So I don't know, leave me a comment below if you'd like to have a pattern for these. They were pretty easy to put together, and I did manage to fit them on these little sock blockers. They're a little bit big for these socks, so they're stretched on there, but I wanted to be able to show you. So here's kind of an up close. I did do shorties, mainly because I'm really bad at finishing socks. I definitely have second sock syndrome. I have a lot of first socks, not a lot of second socks. So I'm really excited that I actually have 2 of these, and I think they're gonna go to my daughter Olivia, because when I measured my foot, I was just off a little bit, and they fit, but they're just a little bit tight on me, and they fit her perfectly. So I think they're gonna go to her. So here they are. They're super cute. I'm really excited that I actually finished 2. This is a big day for me. And she's like, great, when can I have my socks? And I'm like, no, I have to show them on the podcast first because I finished 2 socks. So these next things aren't actually my finishes. This one I'm gonna call my mom's finish, but I wanna show you because I know I've showed this before. We were working on all of these blocks, and this is the Puff Daisy Afghan, and this is for my daughter Olivia as well, the same one that's probably going to get those socks, because she wanted, I saw this pattern actually, and it had pink and white with gray as the main color, and I was like, oh, that's so pretty, I love gray. And then when we went to the store, she's like, no, I want sunflowers, I want it to be yellow. And so I'm like, okay, we'll do the yellow, and it turned out so cute. So here it is finished, and my mom did about probably 90% of the work, and then Liv and I did like the other 10. I might have even done less, because Olivia did all of the pink centers, then my mom did all the white, and then I was supposed to do all the yellow. And I did about, I can't remember, my mom's probably going to comment, 15 or 20 blocks I did, and then she ended up doing the rest. And I think we did 56 blocks. And then I started sewing them together, and I got 2 rows sewn together, and it was just taking me forever. And Olivia and my mom were like, come on, get it done. And so I gave them all back to my mom. She sewed them all together, bless her soul, and gifted it to Olivia. But anyways, it turned out really cute. This is nice and heavy. We used a super chunky yarn, so this is like super cozy and soft, and she does have it on her bed, and so I kind of had to steal it for her to show it on today's podcast, but look how cute it turned out. So anyways, this is a Puff Daisy pattern. I will link the pattern I used below. After I purchased the pattern, I did also find a lot of tutorials on YouTube for them as well. So if you're interested, you can definitely check it out. It is a crochet pattern. It's not knit. And so anyways, but I will put the link on the pattern that I used below. And then the next one I want to show, again, is not my finish, but you guys have to see this. So Olivia has suddenly decided that she likes crochet. And of course, her first project was going to be a sweater. She wasn't going to start small. And so I was like, okay, you know, and she got on YouTube, found a tutorial, and knit herself a sweater. So it's really cute. This is the strawberry sweater. And this is a crochet pattern. So you crochet the sleeves flat, and you crochet the 2 front panels flat, and then you crochet the back panel flat, and then you sew it all together. And then she did add this ribbing for the collar, and then all the way down the front there. And then she actually added, oh, and on the bottom. And then she added the buttons on the front there. I don't think they were in the tutorial that she watched, but she wanted buttons on the front. So we went and just found some cute little kind of brown buttons. And then she crocheted the strawberries separately. So you crochet the strawberry, and look at those. Those are like 3D strawberries. So you crochet the strawberries separately and then add them to the shirt or the sweater. So they're really cute. She's got a couple on each front panel, as you can see, and then she's got some on the sleeves as well. So I mean, I'm just so proud of her. I can't believe she just sat down one day and was like, I'm going to crochet a sweater. And she did. And it really didn't take her too long. We picked out some pretty bulky yarn for this project. And so she got through it pretty quickly. But look at how cute that is. It's absolutely adorable. And and now she's already making a second sweater. So I'm going to show you that. And I did try and get her on the podcast so she could show her own projects. So if you want her on, leave a comment below, and maybe she sees all those other comments, she'll be willing to get on. She doesn't always like to be on film, but maybe we can talk her into it. So this is a work in progress of hers. This is her next sweater, and this is a heart sweater. And so she is doing crochet granny squares for the sections, and so she's crocheting these little pink hearts. For the sleeves, she did this checkered sleeves and a nice little ribbing here on the edge. And so she's got it pretty much done. She basically needs to do a ribbed collar all the way down the front. I think she's doing in red. She's got her other sleeve already attached, and then she's going to do red ribbing down here on the bottom. And then I think she found some little red heart buttons to put on this one. She's already worn it once. She wanted to wear it. She went to choir the other night and she wanted to wear it. And so she actually just wore it like this, even without the ribbing on the bottom. It still looked really cute. She took a little ribbon right here kind of at the front and just tied it across the front with a little ribbon, and it looked adorable. So anyways, here's the back, but isn't this adorable? So this is her second sweater. I mean, I just can't even. She's just like, and now she's addicted. Now she loves crochet and she's addicted. I've been trying to get her to knit or crochet for the longest time, and she just wasn't into it. And then it was like suddenly one day she woke up and was like, I'm gonna make myself a sweater, and she did. She's also buying all of her own yarn for these projects. So, you know, she decides what yarn she wants, how much it costs, how much she's gonna need. And so I think it's a great learning lesson for her. I will try and link the tutorials for both of these below. I know this one was a YouTube tutorial, so I know she watched that one online. This one, I think she actually looked up a tutorial for the heart block, and then I think she looked up a tutorial for the checkers on how to do the change colors of yarn. And then I think she actually just put it together kind of the same way she put together the white one. So I don't know if this one is a full tutorial. So I'll do my best to try and link those below. She kind of likes to fly by the seat of her pants, so she doesn't always have like a pattern that I can share with you guys. And then for her yarn, she's not using anything super fancy. Like I said, she's buying all of her own yarn. So the pink is this big twist, and it's in the colorway Light Rose. And this was either Michael's or Joann's. I can't actually remember now, so I apologize. And then for the red, she used a Caron 1 pound. It's a huge ball of yarn, and it's in the Claret colorway was her red. And so I think they turned out really cute. So I wanted to share those with you because I think she's doing such a great job. We've already purchased some more yarn for her for a dress that she wants to crochet. I'll keep you posted on her progress on that, but we're still waiting for her yarn to come in. And then I wanted to feature one of my patterns. This is an easy knit beanie pattern, and this is a free tutorial here on YouTube, and so I just wanted to point it out again for you guys so you could check it out. It has this really chunky rib on it, and this hat's gotten actually a lot of use. It's been through, I think all of us like this one because it's just nice neutral colors and it's just so cute. And then this pom was from Life's Little Things, and she sells the most amazing poms. So I will link her shop below, and if I can get a close-up of some of the colors in this pom, it is absolutely amazing. So super cute. And now it is a little bit stretched out now after all of us wearing it, but look at how cute it is. And it's really nice and warm. It's really thick yarn, and this was not expensive yarn either. This was from Michael's, and I want to say it was one of the loops and threads. I'll link it below because it's been so long since I made this hat. But it's all in the YouTube tutorial as well on what I used. But anyways, it was really fast and easy. It's such a cute pattern, and it makes it really nice when you have kind of, I think, these fast finishes. They're not hard, and you kind of have a finished project in your hands, something attainable, especially if you're a beginner knitter. It's also great for kind of mindless knitting if you're going to movies or anything like that and you're an experienced knitter and you can knit in the dark. This is the perfect project for that. So I just wanted to show it again for you guys, for some of you who may have missed that we have this tutorial on our channel. Okay, now we're going to dive into acquisitions because I have a couple of fun things. So my first one is this beautiful bundle of fabric. This is Tula Pink fabric, and this may be one of the first Tula Pink lines I've ever purchased, but I couldn't resist. I loved the colors of this one. This is a Curiouser bundle by Tula Pink for Free Spirit Fabrics. I'm sure all of you know Tula Pink. And I don't normally buy Tula fabric, but I just wanted to try something new, and this one I loved. But I love this one because it's got these sewing machines on it, and I'm going to be starting a new English paper piecing project soon, and I wanted something that I could more fussy cut and be intentional with. Most of my fabric is pretty overall prints, and it's kind of hard to fussy cut things. I have a few lines that have some things I can cut out of, but Tula Pink is known for her bold graphic designs, super great for fussy cutting projects and for English paper piecing. And so I got this bundle. I loved all of the colors in it. I think they're so pretty. And yeah, I'm just going to have some fun trying to fussy cut some fabric and see what I can come up with. So I haven't exactly picked a pattern yet. I have decided that I like working on smaller things. So if I can work on a smaller block and just make a lot of those, I think I'm going to like that more than the Tula Nova pattern that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger is starting to get overwhelming for me. But I do want to try something a little bit different, and I wanted to be able to be more intentional with my cutting and my shapes, so I can also kind of make those secondary designs with the little English paper piecing pieces. So anyways, Curiouser by Tula Pink is one of my newest acquisitions. The other thing I got was some fabric from Fat Quarter Shop because I am going to be doing a fall version of my Christmasville quilt, and I wanted to make sure I had enough of some colors. So I got a couple of different prints. These are from Fig Tree, and I think these are from their favorite fresh fig favorites. I can't remember. I'll put it on the screen. So this is one of the aquas from there. Here's another aqua that I got, and I actually used, sorry, it's kind of blowing out because of the sun here. It's so bright here today. I think I used this one I did in my February Truck of the Month. I also got this version of that same print. It's a white, but it has just a really nice light tan. And I think I'm going to be using this for, I think, the background for it. I haven't 100% decided, maybe even the backing, but I think this is just nice and neutral, and I like using the low volumes instead of just the plain white. But I did get another bolt of my 9997. So, and then I got this one. This one is a Lori Holt print. I think this is from her backgrounds line. And this is actually going to be the backing for my finished Sew With Me series blocks. And so I've been waiting for that to come in so that I can get that one done. And so I really like that. And so if you're curious, when I'm buying fabric for backings, I usually get 4.5 to 5 yards unless I already know the actual size. But if I'm not sure which quilt I'm going to use it on and I know it's going to be a good backing, that's what I'll buy. For like binding, I'll usually get 1 yard, 3/4 to 1 yard, usually 1 yard just to be safe. And then for borders, that one really kind of depends on the width of your border. So those I will usually try and figure out before I order the fabric so I can make sure I have enough. Because I like doing really skinny borders and then maybe like a background color again and then like a really wide border. I think that really kind of frames the quilt. And so those wide borders are usually about 6.5 inches wide, and that can take up a lot of fabric. So I always just do the math before I order those. But for backings, always 4.5 to 5 yards, and bindings usually about 1 yard. And then this just came in, my Moda Solid. This is the one I always get. You guys always ask. This is 9900-97. It is a PFD, which means that it's prepared for dyeing. And that can mean that colors will bleed into it a little bit easier. I honestly haven't had any problems with it except for the one time I used some red fabric from a big box store, and I could kind of tell when I was working with the fabric that it was a little bit cheaper. And I mentioned that in my How to Fix Fabric Bleed video, which is why I had to do that video, because that fabric bled all over my white, and the white just took it right up. So be aware of that. The reason that I like this one though is because it's a nice creamy color. It's not such a stark like in your face white, and hopefully you can kind of tell on here the video, but it is just like a nice creamy white. And so I just think it gives my quilts a softer feel than just like that stark white. So I keep using it. When I wash my quilts, I do throw in a color catcher with them just to be safe. But honestly, if you're using high quality fabrics, I've really never had like an issue with fabric bleeding except for that one time. So Just be warned, but as long as you're using decent fabric and a color catcher when you wash your quilts, I haven't had any issues. And then the last thing I want to show you isn't a quilt or fabric or anything like that, but it is an organizational thing. So I just got this binder. This is from Fat Quarter Shop. I actually have 2 of these, and these are Lori Holt binders, and I am using, actually have 2 of these, and then I got 3 more from Target. And this holds all of my quilt patterns, and I just have them in there with these little tabs. I think when you buy the binder, the little tabs will pop up as like a, you know, other people liked this item as well type of thing, or a recommended item. And so I organized mine by theme, which actually I'm really glad that I did. I normally have them in alphabetical order, but theme I actually like because it allowed me to see like, okay, I have a ton of Christmas quilts, which we all knew. And then I didn't have a whole lot of fall quilts, and I love fall quilts. And so I'm going to be doing another fall quilt. I've got some fun patriotic quilts. Anyways, spring quilts, summer quilts, so they're all in there. And so I like having them all in this binder because this can sit on my shelf. It's easy for me to find and reference. And then, like I said, it kind of helps me see like, oh, you should probably do more of this style or maybe less Christmas quilts. I don't know. I can't stop. I love Christmas. It's my favorite. I'm always going to have a ton of quilts. So hopefully you guys like them too. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to thumbs up and subscribe. That way I know to keep making them for you. You can also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming fun. Remember, Sew With Me block series will be releasing the 3rd Thursday of every month, so you have a block coming soon. And don't forget, everything I talked about in today's video will be linked below. So if you're on your computer, click Show More. If you're on a tablet or iPhone, click that little down arrow and you can get all of the good details there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next time. If you are new here, you can find me on Instagram and you're at YouTube, so do you really know? So if you are watching this video in March of 2022, we are on block. We are on March, yeah. Kind of a similar situation. The Sew With Me blocks are releasing once a month, and I'll answer your questions, kind of like we do during. Sorry, I've got cards right. I know they only. Block number 4 was. What is block number 4? I don't actually know. I was doing so good. Here we go. Because these smaller projects are great. Because these smaller projects are great. Wait, why can't I talk? And then on the back side, I used this print. This was, what is this? I forgot what line this is. This is where keeping your bundles together would be handy. Oh, I don't know.
Where they get married.
Yeah.
And 3, my idea for that is it could be the 9 bells of Christmas.
Oh, I get it.
Uh-huh.
And then they're going to put a bell on all 9 cats to go down the aisle?
Yeah.
Did I just make that up?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, cool. And I don't have a lot of other cross stitch to show the, I've been working behind the scenes on some stuff that I can't show you yet. Oh, where's my phone? When I measured my foot, I was originally making for myself. When I measured my foot, I think So that's going to be it for today's podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you did, please thumbs up, subscribe, and like this video. I guess thumbs up and subscribing or liking is the same. Anyway.